Jackson.
Lamar Jackson.
Alright, ready. Jay, your mic's on?
Yep.
Okay. 3, 2, 1.
Hey everybody, welcome back to the Rookie Profiles. We're doing Lamar Jackson today, quarterback out of Louisville, heading into the NFL draft. He's 6'3", 210, 20 years old. And
21 now. He turned 21 last month.
I got old info.
Yeah.
I got a piece of paper and some chalk.
Birthdays was the worst days.
So we just had the combine, so some of this was prepared prior or pre-combine. We do have some information post-combine, some measurements, some measurables. Not a 40 time.
Our
Yeah,
first
thing
spotlight since the combine, though.
Yeah, first spotlight since the combine, but you will not have a 40 time on this young gentleman because he decided not to run it. Do you think it had anything to do with if he ran it and it was like, wow, and it just floored everybody, that everyone would be like, this guy needs to be a receiver?
Well, that's why they already were asking him to run routes as a receiver.
I know, and I know he turned that down. I don't think he should switch to receiver, to be honest with you. I know that he has trouble with accuracy, but I think he's a playmaker. I think he'll be just fine as a quarterback.
Well, yeah, he'll be fine as a quarterback. Well, people are saying now that they see him as a number 2 quarterback.
Right,
But
some scouts.
It was one. It said at least one NFL team, and of course it didn't name who the NFL team was. So I don't know how much weight I put into that. I think that's just like I could say that. I could say, oh yeah, one team thought that this guy like. If you're not going to give any kind of information or any kind of source or anything behind it, except for just say one team, like what? That's just to me, it's just kind of like talk.
What team do you guys think it was? Because I have a guess. I think it's Arizona Cardinals.
Okay.
Everything I've seen that links him to the Arizona Cardinals. I have a feeling the Arizona Cardinals are the ones that maybe put that out there, and they're never going to say, yeah, it was us, obviously. But
So do they take him at 15? Because they have
115?
That's the only pick in the first round they have, or it's wait till the second round. I hope he's there.
I think they might take him. I don't think he lasts the second round.
I was just gonna say, do you think he makes it to the second round?
If
It's
Buffalo,
possible, right?
if Buffalo
It's
doesn't,
possible.
if Buffalo doesn't trade up and try to get to one of those top 5 picks, like with the Colts maybe or the Giants. They have 2 picks at 21 and 22, I believe.
Yes.
The Bills do 21 and 22. So if Arizona passes them, I could see Buffalo taking him because if they don't trade, I'm saying the top 5 quarterback or top 4 quarterbacks will be gone. Lamar Jackson's the 5th quarterback. I could see the Bills taking him if they don't trade up. So I'm looking at either Arizona or Buffalo taking Lamar Jackson in the first round. I don't think he makes it to the second round. I think you're going to see 5 quarterbacks go in the first round this year.
How it can't be Buffalo, right?
That's what I'm thinking. It's almost the same guy as Tyrod Taylor.
Kick Tyrod. I mean, it's very similar. It's similar. A mobile guy who can make some plays. It's basically in the same mold-ish.
Yeah, but
And
Lamar
how much
Jackson
is
has a
it-
lot better arm, and I think he's faster than Tyrod, and they wouldn't have to change the playbook very much.
How much money is Tyrod Taylor demand? Like, what's his demand? You know what I mean? He doesn't expect to be getting $30 million like Kirk Cousins, or even $25 million like Stafford, or even $20 million maybe. So is it a money thing? Because if they take Lamar Jackson there, it's got to be a money issue. Because like you just said, they're too comparable of a quarterback. So unless it's a money situation where they want to take Lamar Jackson and save money and go youth, I just don't get that.
Here's why I think Arizona he would be best suited in Arizona. This is just obviously my opinion. I think that you take him at number 15, you have Larry Fitzgerald coming back, so you have that leader, right? Because one of the things I read about is like one of the bad things about Lamar Jackson is that he doesn't have that leadership quality. He's like just one of the guys instead of being the leader and showing these guys what to do. So maybe Louisville as a college was a bad example because maybe he didn't feel like a leader there, but the way it's set up is that I think that Larry Fitzgerald can be that type of guy like, look, this is what you need to do, let me help you along, and this and that. I think he would be a great fit in Arizona. He's dynamic, he's fast. I was digging into his stats. His sophomore season when he won the Heisman, he had 51 total touchdowns.
Right. So I also wrote down those that he digressed every single season. Freshman regress from sophomore to junior year. He went back in almost every category.
Okay, but look at it this way. With the year in 2017, his last year,
Am I wrong?
he didn't regress very much because if you look at his stats in 2017, he didn't even get invited to the Heisman Trophy presentation. He wasn't even invited, and his stats were 45 total touchdowns. So his touchdowns went down by 6, but he averaged more yards a carry, 7, and he ran for more yards. He ran for 1,601 yards last year, as opposed to 1,571 yards and 6 yards a carry his Heisman Trophy
21 touchdowns to 17.
Right.
Right.
So, I
But he
mean,
threw 5 more
you can
touchdowns the
say-
year before. He threw for more yardage the year before.
you can look and say he regressed in this, that, and this, that, and this, that, but really, I think that both those seasons were pretty comparable. I think that they were pretty similar. And yeah, you can say, oh, he got 3 less touchdowns here, or he got 1 less touchdown here, but he ran for more yards, and I know he threw for less, but everyone's throwing out the Michael Vick, comparison because
Yeah, I
Vick was
get
the
that.
same way. Vick had a huge arm, he was lightning fast, and his accuracy was not great, and this is kind of the same way Lamar Jackson is. I think he needs to stick with quarterback. I think he did the right thing by coming on forward and saying, look, I'm not switching to wide receiver.
Yeah, that was just a slap in the face. To ask him to run, I don't. There's no other reason to have him run routes as a receiver at all, except for the fact that they think he's fast. Like I just don't. He hasn't played 1 snap ever at wide receiver, and you ask him to run routes. Why?
Well, he's taller too. He's 6'3".
So what?
The one thing he needs
Ask
to
Josh
do.
Allen and Josh Rosen to run routes.
Okay, I understand that, but I think the reason why is because his frame is so thin. Like he only weighs 210 pounds, so
Mhm.
that's the one thing. If he's going to stick with quarterback, he needs to add a little bit of muscle to his frame because otherwise he's not going to be.
Well, it's like Jared Goff.
Well, yeah, that's what I'm saying, but he's not going to. But Jared Goff's not really elusive. Like Lamar Jackson's going to have designed running plays, whereas
Saying
Jared Goff
you're
doesn't
worried
really
about getting
have.
hit in the open
Yes.
field.
Right.
Okay. I'm worried about him not getting caught in the open field. That might be. No, but I actually wrote down a very strong arm, good vision, pocket presence is okay. Mike Vick's speed and elusiveness. He's very confident and durable. Didn't have any major injuries in high school or in college, which is a huge plus for me. The only negative is he's not the most accurate. Needs to work on his footwork, and he lacks leadership. I also wrote down as well. So
Yeah.
same thing as you just said. So leadership's a little bit lacking because he doesn't necessarily command anything from his guys. He's more of I'm a team player and I'm one of the guys, and sometimes that can backfire in the NFL if you don't have that strong personality. Kind of put guys in check. They might run all over you. You never know.
That's where I think he can learn from Fitzgerald because a lot of these teams you go to, the wide
He's
receiver. let's
another
face
nice
it,
guy though. You don't. I don't
I
ever
know.
see Fitzgerald yelling at anybody.
But my point is, the wide receiver usually is like a prima donna position, and you usually have guys like, "Hey, man, you just give me the ball." Like I can see him going, if he went to the Cowboys and Des being like, "Look, man, you just give me the ball, everything will be fine." Like that's not good advice. Fitzgerald will actually kind of lead him.
Keyshawn
and
Johnson?
be the guy. Yeah, just give me the ball and everything will be cool, man. Don't worry about it. Yeah, that's great. Fitzgerald's not really like that.
Well,
So I think that would be a good spot. Like,
anything
what
that
do
you want to
think,
add to
Travis?
it?
I don't. I'm not gonna put too much into his leadership kind of knock. I guess as long as he's not getting like in like some weird trouble or doing like weird things, or teammates are actually coming out and saying he's not a leader.
Like truth or dare.
Yeah, I mean, I think he's fine. I think you can grow into that. I think when you do come into the NFL, it's you don't come in trying to command guys around. I think that bites you in the butt too sometimes. So if you come in, kind of prove it that you're deserving of that kind of respect, I think that's going to go a lot farther. And I do think Larry Fitzgerald, that is kind of the way he carries himself as well. It's like, look, I can show you, and I can back it up. So when I say something, it carries a little bit of weight. So, yeah, I like him. I think he's going to be good. I think he's going to go in the first round. I think he's going to go probably. I think so. Yeah, I think he goes top 23 picks. I'm not sure who's sitting around there, but
Top 22. You can say top 22 because
Okay, yeah.
Buffalo has 21 and 22. If he's still sitting there and Arizona does let him go by and no one makes any big trades and move up, they're going to take him with one of those 2 picks, I think.
yeah, I don't even know if Buffalo would wait that long. Like if they like somebody with those 2 picks, you think they would try to use them and go get somebody. So yeah, he might not even make it that far. There's going to be a lot of quarterbacks going fairly early.
Yeah,
Projected rounds 1 to 2.
I think there's going to be 5 quarterbacks, which is, it's not unheard of, but you don't see it every year. 5 quarterbacks going in the first round this draft, I think.
4 for sure. And there's some that, he could be one that slides. There could be somebody that slides. It just depends. But yeah, quarterback heavy.
Father passed away in a car accident when he was young. Only grew up with his mom. Good for him. He had a big contract. He'll end up buying his mom a house. Now I'm just reading on his personal life.
Where do you think he goes in a rookie draft?
It depends on your format,
Here's the thing.
obviously. But
Yeah,
If it's a one
not
quarterback,
super flex, just regular dynasty.
one
rookie draft.
quarterback PPR. Where do you have
For him,
Yes.
3rd round. Like I would say last year I would have said the 4th, but this year because of the emergence of the quarterbacks that came out last year with the Trubiskys, and the Mahomes, and now everyone else are now starting jobs.
Deshaun Watson.
I mean, yeah, Deshaun Watson for sure. All those guys are already now starters, and it hasn't even been, it's only been one full season. A lot of them got thrusted in last season already. Mm-hmm. So I think this season people are going to look at quarterbacks a little bit higher. I don't think he goes in the second, though, because of the quarterbacks that are going. I think he's probably going to go like fourth in our rookie draft. I don't think he'll go in the top three because of Rosen and the. I'm not a big fan of Darnold, but I think that he goes somewhere in the mix of the top four. But no way he goes in the second round, in my opinion.
Yeah, I say late third. He may make it to the fourth round, but I think late third on him is also in a one quarterback PPR.
If he goes to Arizona, will he go in the third round? Yes.
Yeah, I think so.
It all depends on where you're sitting in your draft, obviously. And if you happen to like this guy, I could see him going late second, definitely in the third. I don't know if he
makes it
to the fourth.
That's not saying I'm kind of thinking. I'm thinking like late third.
Especially with, kind of that hype, or especially because of Deshaun Watson-ish kind of, they're not the same kind of guy by any means, but he's going to be mobile, he's going to be a threat. So I think you saw that huge upside from Watson, and maybe you're trying to thread that needle. And if you got one pick or you're set at some other positions and you kind of need a quarterback, I could see somebody taking a shot at him.
I mean, he averaged 7 yards a carry for Louisville last year, and they had a bad offensive line. Like, they didn't have a lot of playmakers around them.
But if he goes to Arizona, they're not going to want him to be a running quarterback. I don't think.
No, but they're gonna have David Johnson coming back, and you're gonna have, and so you don't have to be a running quarterback. But I'm saying that they can, devise plays for him. And then you have Fitzgerald as kind of like your security blanket because the guy catches everything that's close to him. I mean, let's face it, the guy doesn't drop hardly anything at all. So if you have that kind of security blanket that you know is going to catch that many passes, that's great for a young quarterback coming in. That's a great confidence booster. Now, if you go somewhere like the Buffalo, I'm confident in his skills, but I'm not as confident in his situation because who's he really going to be throwing to there? Like right now, it's like Zay Jones, and is Jordan Matthews still under contract? Kelvin Benjamin, I'm not really pumped about that. That to me would make him slide to the late third, early fourth in a rookie draft if he goes to Buffalo. Yeah, it's not a knock against his skill. It's just his situation isn't as good if he goes.
Is it cold in Louisville?
Kentucky, yeah.
Yeah, I think it's cold.
Not Buffalo cold.
No, not Buffalo cold.
He's begging to go to Arizona in the stadium, 70 degrees. Whee! But no, the reason why I said the comment earlier about the him kind of going down a little bit is because his 2016 year when he was a Heisman Trophy winner, he also won the Maxwell Award winner, Walter Camp Award, unanimous All-American, College Player of the Year, which is a Maxwell Award, and the Walter Camp Award is a head coach's vote. He won all of those. Then his 2017 year, he just kind of he wasn't any of those, and so I just thought that seeing what he did his sophomore year, and when you look at the actual numbers and look a little closer. The numbers aren't that far off, but he won all this stuff as a sophomore. Maybe he should have came out the year before.
But he didn't even get invited. He didn't even get invited to the Heisman Trophy Award ceremony like his last year.
That's what I'm saying. But the numbers aren't that far off. He had 5 less touchdowns throwing, 4 less touchdowns. So he had 9 less touchdowns. But number-wise, it wasn't that far off as far as his yardage and his rushing and everything else. But
I agree.
I don't know. I just he was a 4-star recruit out of high school coming out. High school player of the year. So that's why I said you're a high school player of the year, then you're a Heisman Trophy winner, and then you don't even get invited to the Heisman ceremony.
That's not his fault though.
Just saying. Looks like he's going.
Well, his passing percentage went up every year. So I mean that's a decent indicator. His yards per attempt is relatively the same.
Less interceptions.
So yeah, I think touchdowns going up or down, as long as they're not a huge drop off. I think like we say, touchdowns can be fluky. As long as his percentages, you can clearly see in other stats that he's making progressions in some important areas.
Do you think a better NFL comp would be Teddy Bridgewater, not Michael Vick? Because Michael Vick was blazing speed and just kind of like a wild man.
I'm not saying he's better than Vick. I think Vick was a one of a kind type of talent.
That's why it's hard to compare anyone to Vick.
But I think he's better than Bridgewater.
Okay, so better than Bridgewater.
I think this is different than Bridgewater. I listened to a podcast recently, and Michael Vick was on it, and the topic of conversation was Lamar Jackson. And he has spoken with Lamar Jackson, and Vick even said that at the same points in their college careers, that Lamar Jackson is light years ahead of where he was at that point in time. He still says even after his injury, he could probably get out there and beat him in a race. Vic
Who?
says he
Rick?
still
Oh,
has
Vic.
4.5 speed.
Okay, I believe it.
Maybe he does.
How
I don't
old
even
is
have
Vic
that. Like,
right
I'm
now?
not even arguing that.
30. He's in his 30s. He's not 40, right?
Late 30s, I think.
But
Like 38. probably.
he had some good things to say about Lamar Jackson, and he has given him some advice, and the kid's kind of reaching out, and I think he's trying to figure out the right things to do to succeed at the next level. So I think this kid is more than just a running quarterback. I don't want to like pigeonhole him as that necessarily, because I think there is more to this guy's game. He can work on a few areas, but most guys coming out, Josh Allen has a lot of areas to work on.
But that's something that good coaching can fix. That's not something like, oh, this kid can't do this, so he's gonna struggle. It's like that's something that you can coach up.
But it really comes down to that individual. If he wants to, if he has that desire to get better, yeah, you can definitely get better.
One other thing I read on the
Vic's
combine
37,
too.
by the way.
37. One thing I read about the combine too is that all the scouts and the general managers that spoke to him said that he just killed the interviews. Like he did a great job on the interviews. And that's something they look for. That's not something that we look for in particular as fantasy guys, but that's something that obviously the teams look for. So
Yeah, but what if like the Seattle Seahawks said he killed the interview after seeing what they did with the
well, Seattle
doing
Seahawks
staring
probably didn't
contest?
kill an interview because that means he just kept his eyelids open longer than anybody else.
Right.
That was their interview.
Correct.
I'm talking about people that asked actual questions.
I'm sure there was more to the interview than
Either-
just the stare.
No, there was some guys that said they literally just sat in
The
a quiet
puncher,
room.
the puncher and the kickers, yeah.
And they said, we want to see how long you keep your eyelids open, and they sat there and stared at each other. They said it was the most awkward interview they've ever been a part of. There was no questions asked. Seattle Seahawks just made the guys.
Maybe they feel
Sit
like
there.
they're already set where they're at. They don't.
Yeah, they're like, you guys ain't got a chance.
Where they're. I mean,
They have 9 picks in the draft.
yeah, but
Seattle
did you
does.
see how they
You know
are?
how many staring contests they had to do?
Look at 118, and they don't have
Anybody else,
another.
any other positions come out and say that's all we did was stare at each other.
The 118, they probably know who they want in the first round, and they don't have another pick till the 4th round, 4th, 5th, and 7th. That's I don't know why they loaded up so much on the back end there, but that's not my business.
Probably not by choice.
Yeah,
There's probably some bad trades.
all bad trades. Yeah, it's like they're like
Well, I
in
guess
Pete
they're not
Rayner,
terrible
Pete
trades.
Rayner,
Yeah.
Paul Schwartz territory now.
They're like, I'll give you all my good players for your 5th and 6th rounders.
I mean, but
You don't want 4 5th rounders? Fine, I don't know what to
They
do.
got 3 in the 5th, so they're gonna have to take some good shots in the 5th.
3 in the 5th, 4 in the 7th round. That's crazy. Like 4 picks, and they dominate that 7th round.
The one that no
And
one
they got
watches.
Mr. Irrelevant, and the guy two picks before Mr. Irrelevant. They got all their irrelevance.
That's a lot of staring.
Do they? Because
732, yeah.
doesn't there usually there can be more than 32 picks in a round because of compensatory and different things like that?
Yes, when I did the chart here, that was the last pick,
Okay.
which was like a few days ago, and that was, I believe, after the picks.
It was because the
picks.
compensatory picks came out like 2 weeks ago.
Well,
You
there
guys know who Mr. Irrelevant was last year?
If you said the name, I would remember, but no one really remembers
too, then.
Mr.
If I give you
Irrelevant.
the answer, you'll know.
No.